Welcome to Makers International, a podcast of makers, connecting with makers from all around the world. Here's your hosts, Jamie Page, Chris Cute, and now, Richard Morley.
So and go, hello. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good time, whatever time it is, wherever you are listening, blah, blah, blah. I think that's how Richard starts it normally. Today we are joined with the unusual Chris Cute.
Hey, I resemble that, but hello, how are you?
The inquisitive Andy Pugh.
Hi, folks.
The man, the myth, the legend, the RPT, Mr. Chris Fisher.
Hey up.
And me, Jamie.
Oh.
I'm nothing special. Don't worry. Not yet, anyway. So, just a quick reminder you that today's podcast is brought to you in part by Yorkshire Grit, the Woodturner's abrasive paste. Yorkshire Grit.
Glenn.
Our good friend Chad over at Man Crafting, who makes the awesome powder-coated Yeti mugs, and Pam from Highland Boxes, and who makes amazing resin and hybrid blanks, and also Steve Nealon from Harnell Media, who helps me out with the website, blah, 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 every now and again, most of the time, 100% of the time.
Does everything.
All the time. All links to our sponsors can be found in the description down below, and also can be found on our website, which is makersinternationalpodcast.com/sponsors. Now, Mr. Cute, do we have any random listener questions?
Oh, you have got to be kidding me. We have Andy Pugh with us today.
I kind of knew that.
I have been waiting for this day for so long because, in case you are new to the podcast, if you are, hi, how you doing? What's up? Andy has made us suffer for quite some time with his questions that made us feel uncomfortable on more than one occasion. So, do I have questions? Oh, dear God, do I have questions? Here we go. Mr. Pugh, this is directed at you, but Chris, okay. Mr. Fisher,
yes.
You can feel free to answer this as well. You're not liable to. You can pass. And Jamie, I'm not sure you even want to, but considering how much of a benefit, Andy, you have been to the three of us and this podcast, I just felt it right to make the first question include the four of us. So, Andy, you are stranded on a deserted island with Jamie Page, Richard Morley, and myself. There are no animals on this island, and there are no fruit-bearing trees. The only tools you have are a knife and a fork. So the question is, which one of us looks like dinner first?
Oh. Now, you're assuming that I would do cannibalism. Because, darling, I could go fishing, of course.
No, you're not going to eat yourself unless, well, that would be just kind of weird.
Yeah, sacrificial leg. There's
no way to answer this without you looking weird, which is why I wanted to ask that question. Thank you. Go ahead. So, which one of us looks more yummy than the other?
Well, I'm not sure whether this case of yummy because obviously you're all three very yummy. Yeah, and
all right, I'm already uncomfortable.
It's a question of who's going to be able to fight back. Really, who's going to be who's the more likely to be the first person to try and eat me?
That would be me.
So in that case, it's going to be Jamie.
I can understand that.
And you're a good cook, Chris. So we can. Obviously cook him up.
We can start fire and roast meat. Besides that, I don't know what it'll taste like. But okay.
Pork, apparently.
All right. Well, hey.
Cannibals of the Pacific used to call humans long pork, the Europeans, when they ate them.
Steve House is in the house. Steve says, I would be too gamey. Jimmy looks like he'd taste, I don't know, weird. So I'm assuming, Richard, your days are numbered when it comes to the island. If Steve is doing this. And you know what? And Chris, you don't have to answer that, and Jamie, neither do you. But I just thought that was an appropriate way to at least begin today's festivities. Because trust me, I have more questions for Mr. Pugh.
Oh dear, oh dear. Right, so before we get on to the rest of the festivities with Mr. Andy Pugh and Mr. Fisher, as everybody knows, we've been doing the Maker Quilt for the Guide Dogs UK. So we'll quickly run through what we're doing with that, and we're kind of then after that we'll let Chris kind of go through what the Guide Dogs is all about and kind of let everybody know a little bit more info about the Guide Dogs, etc., and all that sort of good stuff.
Yeah.
So Chris, do you wanna kind of let everybody know like the costs and a bit more of the insights?
Well, I'm sure most people are aware that guide dogs are hugely costly to breed and get through their training, and then you have obviously their welfare and ongoing costs throughout their working life, but also it's the infrastructure as well. You have all the centres, you have obviously veterinary costs, you have trainers, the not the puppy walkers that do it as volunteers, but you have then the proper dog trainers, and also then you have the guide dog mobility instructors. So all told, it comes in at roughly now approximately £57,000 sterling for a guide dog.
So that would be in excess of $60,000 US.
Yeah, so it's a big chunk of money, and every single penny counts. But the most important thing is these amazingly super advanced, elite trained dogs go on to give blind and visually impaired people independence and the ability to get out and function on their own and be safe and play a more integral part of the community and just do things on their own. I mean, Bamba, for me personally, he's such an amazing animal. And before I had Bamba, I had they're called PAs now, personal assistants, but a lot of people still know them as support workers or care workers. I had a care worker for 8 years, a guy. And they do a remarkable job, the care workers. But a guide dog, it's just, it's that unquestioning, loyalty, and they're so clever, so clever. The stuff they know, it's you have to be there with a blind person working their dog to really get
basically understand. Chris, can I ask a question real quick? At what age? Because I think if we put this in years, is for people, they'll understand the amount of dedication it takes. At what age are most of the guide dogs able to perform their duty?
It's about 18 months.
So about a year and a half or so?
Yeah, they're about 18 months old when they should be qualifying. And then they would be paired up with a blind person. But Bamba entered the program when he was about 6 weeks old. Okay. And Bamba's father was a seeing eye dog in America called Elvis.
Yeah, baby. What's up?
Yeah,
there you go. So, was he a hound dog?
Bamba was bred to be a guide dog straight from the get-go, because apparently the German Shepherd seeing eye dogs in America are super good quality animals. So there's this
I can attest to the fact that the majority of the guide dogs that I've seen in America are indeed German Shepherds. Yeah. I mean, there are other breeds, but the majority of them are obviously German Shepherds, at least here in the States.
Well, it's sort of like the opposite here. Only 7% are German Shepherds. The majority are still Labradors and Retrievers, with the odd Labradoodle coming through because they're hypoallergenic. So blind people with allergies can have a dog now. But yeah, they are amazing. They play a huge part in a blind person's life. they're a life changer. They're a game changer. They are crucial to a blind person's independence, safety, and emotional well-being, because you've got an amazing companion and a friend there as well. And for someone like me that went through the whole anxiety thing with being blind, to be able to have a dog there, when Nicola goes out to work and I'm here at home, I've got a good friend there with me watching my every move, never take his eyes off me. He knows I'm blind, so he's ever watchful, ever vigilant. And you couldn't imagine life without the guy now.
No, I imagine. And the quality of life that dog enables you to now have, I don't think you can put a price tag on. I mean, I know the eventual price tag in the UK is 57,000 sterling and over 60 grand here in the US. But in order for a person like yourself to have that kind of companionship and that kind of guidance, it allows you. I mean, hey, I don't want to pull on heartstrings too much here, but if it helps people contribute to what we're trying to do, then I will. It's just that you cannot put a dollar amount on what that means for somebody who doesn't have it. I mean, picture yourself there.
Housebound, at its basic elements, the blind person would be housebound, and you've got your long cane, which is the white stick, and you're trying to use that and be confident and go to the shop. But to have an animal, a sentient being there with you that knows to stop when there's traffic coming, they're listening for everything, they're guiding you around obstacles, they're making sure you climb stairs safely, getting you to elevators and crosswalks, and it's just obviously none of this a white cane can do for you. So you have got a really dependable, advanced, trained, thinking, living creature there to make sure. And like I say, the love is unconditional, and it's just amazing to have one.
Well, I would like to say that it was, Jamie, Richard, and I that came up with the idea of doing a fundraiser for the guide dogs, but it was not our idea. Kat, Hippie Noodle, the lady who is going to be making this quilt that we're hoping to raise money by people buying a share to possibly win the quilt when it's finished, is the one who wanted to do this. And I think, Chris, it was mostly because of you that she wanted to do this.
I mean, it's just an amazing gesture. And, it's, a lot of you guys have seen Bamber in the flesh at events and, Maker Central and things like that. And he's got his own fan club, and it's like when I turn up, it's like, screw you, Chris. It's like, where's Bamber? And more and more people are saying, while you're doing something, can we take him for a little walk and things like that? So, he's in his own right, he's becoming quite a little celebrity. But I mean, for Hippie Noodle to be doing that, it's like big love back to her, and everybody that's donated so far, thank you all so very much. It cannot be stressed enough how important these animals are, and how intelligent and how loving they are. And absolutely wonderful. One of the best decisions I've ever made. And we've been together now just over 2 years. October 2017 is when I was paired with Bamber, and obviously the training for the blind person as well is quite intense. And it takes about a month for the person to get qualified, and that includes a 10-day residential class again, which is a huge cost. And on that 10-day residential course, it's you and your instructors and your guide dog. You feed him, you take him to the toilet, and he stays in your hotel room whilst you're on your class. And it's this joining of these two minds. And you're on the road 9 to 5 every day training. Even during the weekends, you're not allowed any visitors. It's really intense. There's so many things you have to learn: body positions, vocal commands, what else, health, dietary requirements, grooming, if your guide dog gets sick, and it's like, you get back to your hotel room at the end of the day and your head's like, I can't remember any of this, and tomorrow we're doing this, but eventually it all starts to click, and you're in this strange environment with your new guide dog. I didn't have a clue where I was, and you've been taken into these strange shopping malls and on strange buses and along strange pavements and sidewalks. Luckily, you've got an amazing animal that is at the top of his game, and within a couple of days you're thinking, you know what, this is absolutely chuffing amazing, absolutely amazing. So yeah. It's hard.
Yeah. So about the Maker Quilt. So first of all, now we've been doing the selling the tickets for what I want to say about a month, 3 weeks, thereabouts. So first of all, it's I just want to say a massive thank you for quite a small podcast. We've done incredibly well. We're just shy of £300 at the moment. So yeah, we're doing absolutely incredible. I never really thought, to be honest with you, that we'd get this much in such a short time. Now the end of the there's a Cat's had to put a kickoff date on it, because already 300 squares is quite a lot of work for Cat. But Cat said we'll put a knockoff date of it to the end of this month. So if people want to participate in the Maker Quilt and buy raffle tickets, you can go to makersinternationalpodcast.com. At the top of the page, you go to where it says #MakerQuilt. And over there, you will see 2 links. You'll see one that says donate. And if you click that button, that's just where you will donate money. You will not buy any tickets or any entries into the Maker Quilt there. That's basically you just giving the guide dogs money, because 100% of the proceeds of the money is going to the guide dogs. Then you will also see one that says add to cart. And next to the button where it says add to cart, you will see a place where you can type in a number. So you type in how many squares you want, and then you click add to cart. So if you want 1 square, that's £1 UK. And I think the currency converter at the moment it's about $1.25 to $1.30 to the pound. So it's £1 per ticket, and that's 1 entry to winning the quilt. If you was to buy 5 squares, that's £5 and 5 entries. And is that the same if it's so you can buy as many as you liked, but it will so yeah, that's basically it.
You're basically just donating to the charity, and then with the off chance that maybe you'll get something out of it. But I mean, let's not do it for the wrong reasons. Do it because you want to donate, and then if you win the quilt, good for you. I mean, that's basically the way it goes. This goes.
Yeah. So just however much you donate or buy a square, that's how many entries you get into winning said quilt once it's finished, and all proceeds go to the Guide Dogs UK. So yeah, right, Mr. Q.
Oh, back to me with questions.
Yeah, back to Q. It says back to Mr. Cute for the Q's for Andy Pugh.
You know what? I do have 2 more questions that I sincerely really do want to ask. I mean, and I say that as deviously as I possibly can. But Andy is our guest, so I think it only proper that I allow him, if Andy has any of his usual inquisitiveness with him, to allow him to ask us a question or 2, because we could at least all participate in that, because mine are directed solely at that SOB right there. So maybe we should let Andy ask not only us but the chat a few questions as well. So Andy, do you have anything?
Oh, I've got loads of questions.
Oh, what a surprise.
I can always use next week, so if you don't have any.
I'm so shocked.
How about a food question?
Okay.
I used to work with a gentleman who had very particular thoughts about this particular question. Hot pudding. So tonight we had apple and cherry crumble.
Wendy, hold on, because America might not understand what exactly is pudding.
Dessert. So something you'd eat after a main meal. So, for example, today, Sunday, so we normally have a roast, so roast chicken, roast potatoes, roast parsnips. So, the second course would be, the dessert, or as we would call it in the UK, pudding.
Okay, got it.
So, hot puddings, things like in the UK, you might have spotted dick, or sticky toffee pudding, or today we had apple and cherry crumble.
Oh,
now
okay. Yeah,
this is the device. This is the divisive bit. With a hot pudding, so apple and cherry crumble, for example, do you have something hot like custard, or do you have something cold like ice cream or cream?
Ice cream. I'm down with ice cream because the only relate I have to that is hot apple pie in America. And if it doesn't come with a cold scoop of vanilla ice cream, you're just not doing it right. So I'm going with the ice cream.
I've got to go with custard.
I'd go with custard.
So I would go either way. But custard, we had custard.
Oh, see,
so quite a few custards.
This is why I'm viewed as being so different. You guys, okay? Anyway.
Oh, so Nicholas said ice cream in the chat.
Thank you, Nicola. Thank you.
And Richard can't eat either.
I could just hear Nicola's hand rattling there with the.
Oh, Wayne the Woodturner said evaporated milk.
Ick.
No, we've got both from Peter Miller.
Why would you do evaporated milk when you could have ice? Ick, come on.
And Dale Stern Jaffa cakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just more apple crumble.
Yeah, you know what? B, Jamie's answer, more apple crumble. I mean, if I had to choose, that would be it. Because one slice was good. Another slice would be, yes, thank you.
Even better.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, about to make a question in for a second question for now, and then over to you, Chris.
Oh,
so
God.
Most of us know that Ellen, friend of the show, has recently moved to Germany, to the vicinity of Laura Kampf. So
Crafts with Ellen, right?
Yeah, Crafts with Ellen. Yep. So she's just moved. If you were in the position to, or you had to move, and you had the opportunity to go anywhere in the world to be with or near to another maker, where would you go?
Mine's easy. Oregon.
Yeah, I know why.
I'd have far too much fun with Carl and Robin.
I know the reason for that answer, but I would have to move. I couldn't say that because I would have to a different part of the world. See, that's tough because there's a part of the world that I would happily move to in a heartbeat, but I don't know anybody in the area that I could say because of so and so. All right, I'm gonna say England just because I could be close to Jamie and Richard and you guys. Jamie's
moved off to Oregon.
Well, but my honest answer would be if I had to move tomorrow and I could go to anywhere in the world that I wanted to actually live, it would be to the Republic of Ireland. It's just such a beautiful country, and that's where my heritage lies. So, in a roundabout way, I would like to go back home. In that case, I mean, but not because there's anybody. I mean, I love Steve Twiddell. Don't get me wrong. I love the other people that are there in Ireland. It's just that I wouldn't move there for them. I would move there for me. You follow me?
Yeah, it is a nice place, south of Ireland.
Yeah,
or Republic of Ireland.
All right, Mr. Fisher.
Yeah, it's a cliche, and so many people will probably say it, but I'd have to say to upstate New York to be near Jimmy.
I can see that. Cool.
Chris, I've been there, and you would love it. It's absolutely gorgeous. That part of the United States is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, if you like the four seasons, and if you like being surrounded by trees and woods and animals, it's a great place to be.
Yeah, definitely. And, to be hanging around. I can hear Nicola chuckling away here at something. Trees. Oh, trees. Oh yeah, Nicola and the trees. Yeah, I mean it'd suit Bamba down to the ground as well because we'd take him obviously. But yeah, to be upstate New York and to be, hanging out with Jimmy, such an amazing mentor and maker. Yeah, it'd just be awesome.
Yeah, that would be my call.
That would have been your answer as well, Andy?
Yeah, I'd love to spend some time there.
So
seeing all these courses that he's running. Steve went on and things like that.
Nobody wants to move to Connecticut. Nobody wants to move to Connecticut. And
that won't be a bad idea. I'll go and see Tim Sway and David Gagne.
Oh God. No, honestly, I swear to you, this is the perception of Connecticut. Connecticut is the state that people travel through to go from interesting place to interesting place. There is nothing in this state that makes you go, "Ooh, I want to be there." There just isn't. But whatever. I do happen to live in an area very similar to the area you are thinking of in upstate New York, though, Chris and Andy. The area I live in is very hilly, very tons of trees and a ton of animals, but it's not the rest. I get it. I freaking get it. All right, that's fine.
Oh, having said that, we have said, we've still yet to pull the trigger on getting to America, and we will get there. But, we have said, Nicola, especially being, a lover of trees and nature, just the East Coast, New England, in the fall, those colonial buildings.
Oh, you have
the photography options there. It's fantastic.
You have re-engaged my affection for you, Mr. Fisher.
Yeah.
I now love you more than Andy Pugh and Jamie Page.
No, we
once again.
We would love it in your backyard, Chris.
You know what? And that's where you'd have to stay because I have no room for you guys here. I'm sorry.
Not room for a tent up in your.
I'm obviously kidding, but yeah, no, I have a tent anyway.
Yeah. You put up a few tents in his workshop.
Andy, that was a really hard question for me because there are.
It's a tricky question. Yeah,
there are a lot of places that I would not mind living. It's just trying to coordinate where and who. It's not easy to do. So anyway,
I quite like what Josh Price, that works with Bob Claggett, did when they left Florida, and you just have a giant RV and just drive around. And that I think one day I'd like to come to the States, and I don't want to just go to one place. I'd like to hopefully have enough time and money to go and visit so many people, so many friends that I haven't actually met yet in real life, and just kind of catch up with people.
Personally, I would like to have the ability to drive a van like that and carry a wood shop behind it. Because if I attempted to do that today, I would kill somebody along with myself, I'm sure. Because, anyway, I had a boat once, and backing that up, trying to back up a trailer. If you've never tried to back up a trailer in your life, it is, believe me, a lot harder than it looks when you try to do it for the first time. And so I can't imagine having a Winnebago and then behind that having my entire shop and then having to back that into it would never end well. All right, Andy, you got anything else? Are there any more of your?
I can. I'll hand over to you. You said you got some questions. Let's have some of your questions.
And the folks that are out in the chat, please devilishly devise your own for Mr. Pugh, because Jamie is watching the chat and he will keep track, and the golden ones will be asked. So think of your questions, folks. I will hit you with my second question. Mr. Pugh. All right. You have to drive from Wick in the north of Scotland all the way down to Brighton in the south of England.
Ooh.
During that drive, which of the following would you most likely be caught doing? A, picking your nose. B, flipping off a fellow motorist. Or C, singing at the top of your lungs along with Britney Spears on a top 40 radio station. Which of those three would you probably most likely be caught doing if you were being recorded?
Yeah. Does it have to be Britney Spears? Because if it's singing, the singing might happen in a car on my own. Singing might happen. If my family are there, then probably singing would be banned. So the most likely to
that wasn't an option,
is most likely would be picking the nose. I'm afraid I'm not one for I'm trying to annoy fellow road users.
Chris, I would ask you this question, but if you're driving and you're behind the wheel, then the answers would totally change. Yeah. What would, Jamie? What would you be caught doing with those three examples? You're going
probably picking my nose.
Yeah. Okay, I understand that.
Could I just give an answer if I could still drive?
Certainly, yes, you could.
I would be flipping off other drivers.
That's the answer I wanted. Thank you.
And when these driverless cars become mainstream, they will be flipping off other drivers.
There you go.
And
that is the honest answer. The other two kind of flogged off on it. I mean, that's the honest answer.
It would be amazing to hear the shock in their voice when they come to engage. They've come to a screeching halt in front of us, and they come over to give us a good thrashing, and there's a blind guy there with his guide dog in the car. That's just some next level comedy there.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I've got a question here for Andy already, and actually it's a good question for Chris and you, and both Chris's.
Okay,
it's come from the Beard Time 16.
Oh boy.
Red or brown in your bacon sarnie?
All right, explain to me what
question.
Explain to me what a sarnie is, because I'm thinking
there's
a sandwich. Okay, I mean, the question again, then, Jamie.
Red sauce or brown sauce in your bacon sandwich?
So tomato ketchup or barbecue sauce, almost the kind.
No, brown sauce.
American brown sauce is slightly different from barbecue.
Like Daddy's brown sauce.
Are we talking
HP
or HP?
I would go with the HP. HP sauce with bacon. I mean, not that I would actually enjoy that, but it seems ketchup would just muck up the flavor, in my opinion. But whatever.
Ketchup can work though. Ketchup can work. Sometimes put chutney in. Chutney can work. Yeah. Barbecue sauce.
You guys are making me think you're all members of Ragtie's family. That guy has the taste, the culinary expertise of a friggin' rat. Anyway, all right.
Oh, Andy Bespoke in the chat put applesauce. Now that's a good one, particularly if it's nice thick bacon.
Okay, but it was black or red. So, but if I was given a choice and I had to have one or the other, I would go with the brown sauce. That would be my choice.
Yeah, most likely red.
I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that would be my choice. All right, traditional or carbide? Which works best for you? That's from Caitlin, the cat.
I can't answer that. I'm not a turner.
Carbide. I can't even use traditional. Every time I've tried using traditional, my muscle memory reverts back to traditional. Reverts back to carbide, sorry.
All right. Me, a bit of both, really. Depending on what sort of mood I'm in and depending on the project, but I like using both. And the class that I just gave Valerie, that the whole day we were on traditional tools, and I enjoy the challenge of rubbing the bevel and save contact, and but yeah, for me it's both. I love both of them.
I would say traditional, but I identify as carbide.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I use both. I know. I'm sorry. I got into that whole gender neutral thing. But I use both. It just depends on what I'm doing at the time, because some tools are actually easier to do certain things with than other tools. But I learned with traditional tools, and I am by no means an expert. I don't even have the talent, and I don't mean to disparage Jamie by saying this. I don't have the talent that Mr. Page has or Mr. Fisher has when it comes to turning. I just simply don't. I haven't spent the time to become that good. The time that I have spent, I learned how to turn with traditional tools. Carbide, granted, does make things easier, but it doesn't always make things better. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Are we doing more from the chat?
Sure, why not? We got time to kill.
Yeah,
We got another
right,
25 minutes.
We got one from who we got? John Williams. Andy, are you a Kentish man or a man of Kent?
Me? No, a Valley's boy. Valley's boy, I am. Welsh born and bred.
There you go. A question from Dave G's Designs. Would you rather have chips for lips or pies for eyes?
Chips for lips or pies for eyes? Oh, chips for lips. I want to be able to see my food.
Pies for eye. I'm getting lost in vernacular here because these obviously have references that I am quite unaware of. Chips for lips or pies for eyes.
I don't think I know that one.
I have no clue. I don't want chips for lips because I'd eat them. And pies for eyes would just suck because I couldn't eat them. So neither. Anyway.
Right. Maple Tree Studios. How many verses of Let's Do the Time Warp do you know?
Yeah, I answered that one in the chat. None.
One.
Can't do the Dan Cyber. None.
One.
Not one.
One.
One for Chris.
And it would be that one. Let's do the time warp again.
All right. They're the ones I've been keeping up with. So, over to you, Andy.
More questions?
Well, if you want, Mr. Pugh. If not, then I'm loaded for bear. And this one could actually be...
Go on, then. This
could be for anybody. So I've decided to take the last one rather lightly for our guest because I actually do like Andy. I just resent some of his questions.
So you made the mistake of putting something on Facebook. You asked me if there are any questions.
No, my friend. You know what? You are an amazing contributor to this podcast, which is why we wanted to have you here today, and thank you. But I don't want to be nice to you quite yet. We have another, 20 minutes to go. Okay, I will direct this in your direction, Andy, but Chris and Jamie, you can answer this as well.
Okay.
You've seen the perfect item for a friend's birthday for sale. You know this person would love that. The birthday is just over a week away. But rather than spend the money, because you're cheap probably, but rather than spend the money on it, you decide to make it yourself. After many failed attempts, what do you do? Here are your choices. A, do you break down and just buy the damn thing? Or B, contact a friend who you know can make it? Or C, just resign yourself to saying a happy belated birthday when you are finally able to accomplish it yourself. What do you do in that scenario?
I would not quit. I would keep on doing it and say, have it late.
Yeah, I've done that.
I agree. Same here.
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay, I'd buy it.
You've been brainwashed by your wife to making presents.
No, I would buy it to avoid the shame, and then I would continue trying to figure out how to do it myself. But anyway, it's a pride thing. I guess apparently I have more than I should have. That's the last question I had from Mr. Pugh. So, Andy, if you've got anything, feel free to rock the boat.
Okay, let's have a look. What would be your perfect making day? So if you were kind of, if you had a perfect day where everything went really well, what would that day be like? What would you have made? Yeah, would you have been in the workshop all day and kind of leave starving, hungry, but yeah, something finished? Would you have started on a major project? Yeah, there's so many. Like all my questions, there's no one definitive answer really.
And there's no right or wrong to this one either.
No.
It's just the first image that came to mind for me, Andy, was outdoors, using a hand plane, making my first boat, because
Nice.
I would like to someday actually build even just a small little, knockabout rowboat. But I can think of a time when I would be out there with a hand plane, fine-tuning the edges on a lot of things that had to do with a boat that I was currently making, and just be proud as hell of myself. I mean, I think in the end, our favorite days of making are the ones we feel the most proud about. Whether anybody else recognizes that or not really doesn't freaking matter. It's just a matter of us going, I feel good. I did that. Yeah, so that would be my answer. That's probably way too deep, but there you go.
I think for me, my perfect day is probably I'm going to say it's probably going to become a reality within the next couple of weeks. That's going to sound strange, but I'm going to be turning with Carl and Jake at the same time. All three of us with 3 lathes going all at once. And they're kind of 2 of arguably some of my best friends in this community. And you just can't beat that. Not only that, but it's in Texas as well. So I'll be over in America.
Well, you can beat Texas, and don't even get me started on that. I mean, I love the fact that the 3 of you are all getting together.
We'll be inside of a building, so I can pretend I'm in England still.
Just pretend you're not in Texas, and it'll make everything better. And if you live in Texas and love it, I apologize. I'm sorry.
We'll be in Jake's hangar, so I can pretend I'm in Connecticut, like your workshop.
There you go. Perfect. I mean, not that. That's no. I mean, I'm just saying. I've been to Texas. No. Anyway, my opinion aside, that's a good thought, Jamie. Thank you, Chris. Mr. Fisher.
My perfect day would be it's a nice warm day but not too hot, in the workshop, nice and early, huge cup of tea. I've got the stereo on pumping out the best heavy metal tracks that have ever been made, and I'm turning, and the wood is responding, and I'm carving, and I'm texturing, and I'm feeling. And the hours are flashing by, and you end up there at the end of the day and go, flipping heck, I can't believe I've done that. And then go in the house and have a big glass of mead and listen to an amazing horror film.
All right, Andy, answer your own damn question.
Yeah, I think for me, it's Jen in the comments said, making something beautiful and not having some back pain that day. I think that kind of would sum it up for me too. For me at the moment, I really want to try and get into more kind of sort of sculptural carving.
Right.
So a bit like the work, I don't know if you're familiar with him. There's a guy, he does have a YouTube channel, but does more work on Instagram, Jonathan Whittaker, based down in Plymouth.
Oh, yes.
He's the guy, most recently, he's done 2 female torsos, armless, legless, headless torsos, just by kind of putting some 2x8 pine together and then just carving it. And they're approximately life size, slightly smaller than life size. And the detail that he puts into them, you can see the kind of the ridges of the muscles in the back and the shoulders. So that kind of, some of his work has been really inspiring me lately, of kind of doing some kind of, maybe some big sculptural carving. The Tinkerage is tiny and I don't have much space in there. So most of my stuff is limited to a fairly small size. But maybe like having some good weather, getting outside, starting with a big block of wood, something really nice with some nice figure to it. And then just, attacking it with an angle grinder, some Japanese rasps and planes, and coming out with something that's just, yeah. For me, wood, I really kind of love the sort of texture of wood, particularly once you've taken it to kind of 300 grit, 400 grit or more, and that kind of the texture, and you can see the figure in it. That just, for me,
I agree.
I
agree. And I'm not even going to pretend that I have the talent to do that. I mean, I think every single one of us today, in the people in the chat and those of us sitting here right now, if we decided to take that kind of detailed time, could probably achieve that. But having said that, I have never done it. And I don't know if you guys followed, and I wish I could mention this person's name because they really do deserve a shout out for this. I was on Facebook and I watched a number, I think there was 3 or 4 gentlemen that did a chainsaw carving of what remained from an oak tree in front of a civic building somewhere in the United States. And they had the scaffolding and they started from the top and went to the bottom. And when they got done, they carved an amazing grizzly bear out of the trunk of what was left of this oak tree. And the art, the talent, and the skill that it takes to do something like that is just, it kind of like, it's just, I don't have it. I would love to, but I don't. And it's just where you look back and you go, okay, I'm friggin' impressed. That is cool. And I just, it's like what you said, Andy, about the guy with the sculpture. It's just something you look at and you admire and go, I really like that. And I give the person who did that amazing respect, because that's not easy. And anybody who makes it sound like it is lying to you. That's not easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be a perfect day with some good food at the end. Maybe then meet up with some fellow makers and kind of sort of share some stories and
yeah. Have an ice cream that you didn't want.
Anything is, well, it's like Richard just said. Anything is possible.
Length of the wait, Jamie.
And of course, Richard, like I mentioned, anything is indeed possible if we all want to take the time and dedicate ourselves to it. It's just that these gentlemen had the talent and really didn't have to take that time and dedicate themselves to it. They were just that good. And that's impressive.
Mm-hmm. Or we could just all meet up in Sittingbourne and go and watch some RPT do some turning.
Or we could watch some, just silly blind guy do something that most of us can't do with sight, and then just sit back and be friggin' amazed at the talent this gentleman has.
Well, you see, you're getting me sort of like my juices flowing here, because all I want to yell at you guys is, you can do it. And that thing that you've just mentioned there, Chris, about the grizzly bears.
Sure, you can do it.
You can do it. It is just time. It's like everyone has this ability. Everyone has this passion. It can be deep within us and it can take years to get out. But the eminent Professor Michio Kaku from New York, who's a theoretical physicist, everybody is born a genius. It takes many years to find it, and in some cases it gets knocked out of you and you lose your way. Everybody is a genius. Please all take that to heart and say, you know what, I really can do anything I want. Just
take your time. The thing about that to say is dedication. You have to dedicate yourself to doing it. And if you can't do that,
you've got to really want it.
You've got to want it. I agree. Agree 100%.
Yeah, without a doubt. Right, I guess it's getting to the time for the shout outs and all that stuff, isn't it?
Does anybody have another question before this guy has to sing?
Yeah, I'm sure Andy does.
Yeah, I got more. Always got more.
One more, Andy. Let's do one more before.
Another maker one then. Money, time, space, equipment is not a problem. What would your ultimate project be?
Oh. Well, as I mentioned previously, it would be building a boat that didn't sink. I mean, because I just think, well, it's just my own personal opinion, because being a shipwright is not an easy thing to do, and it would be an immense source of pride for me if I could do it. So yes, building a boat, even if it was just a little rowboat, I would be happy.
If it's your ultimate one, would you go for something like the boat that Gibbs in NCIS built? Kind of, actually, fairly decent size. If it was your ultimate project.
I would be proud to be part of a team that was building a boat like that. I mean, yes. I mean, I don't have to do it individually to get that kind of satisfaction. Yes, I agree with you. I would do that.
Do you want to go, Chris?
I think if money was no object, what would I build? I think I'd love to have a maker space that's got, all the bells and whistles, but more importantly, plenty of dedicated stations and access for people with disabilities, benches, which are nice and low for wheelchair users, tons of stuff that's tactile, and all the tech that speaks to you for the visually impaired. I'd love a state-of-the-art, up and running, huge makerspace for able-bodied and disabled people to come in and really, have lots of fun and make whatever they want, and and just have it accessible to everybody.
Oh my! I don't think anybody can match that. That's admirable, my friend. I wish you would have gone first. I could have thought of something different. Jamie, what about you?
For me, with the only thing I guess I'm really lacking at the moment is workshop space. I mean, whatever it is that I want to make, I have to keep moving stuff.
But space doesn't matter. Space doesn't matter.
Yeah, space isn't a problem in this.
So I mean, I don't know. I guess I'd have to mirror what Chris has said. But I've always wanted to build a guitar, so I think a top of the range guitar probably.
How about a guitar-shaped makerspace?
Guitar-shaped makerspace, yeah. There you go.
With the lathe at the very end, throwing chips behind you. That's not bad.
But Jamie, a load of lathes in the neck.
Just because I want to nail you down to particulars, are you talking about an electric guitar or an acoustic guitar?
Yeah.
Well, there's a whole lot of difference in the complex of making a guitar when it comes to electric or acoustic.
Probably an electric
box.
guitar. Probably an electric guitar, yeah.
That would be a good start. Andy, what about you, sir?
I've got a long list of possible ones. I put it in the chat a few minutes ago to Mark Lindsay. I'd love to have a go at making an electric cello. That's one of the ones on my kind of dream list.
That is ambitious.
And I kind of agree with Chris as well about kind of a makerspace. One of the things that where I live, it's quite an interesting junction in kind of the UK. It's very close to London. There's a lot of people now moving down into sort of the nearest town because it's good. There's a fast train to London, but there's nothing like really a makerspace. There's a little men's shed. There's a little repair cafe, but both are really quite small. I'd love to see kind of a makerspace, something that has the opportunity to bring in young people and maybe people who want to learn skills and also act as kind of like a men's shed and get people in doing stuff. So that's one. And a Dalek or some sort of full-size robot type thing. So a Dalek or a Johnny Five, something like that. But that actually works. Not killing people, not the kind of that side of the Dalek, but so it moves around. Sort of a big long-term project.
And I continue to be sorry that I answered that first. Awesome. Well, you know what?
A boat's a difficult thing and an ambitious thing.
No, but
it's totally a valid.
But compared to the love and the giving that you guys are talking about, that seems kind of selfish. Anyway, but maybe that's what I am. Jamie, let's move along. And God help us, we need to please get ready to gargle with the salt water and sing us your tune.
Yes, I have to do Jamie's page. So, obviously, as a lot of people might have known, Claire from Claire's Crafty Corner. Last night, just before midnight UK time, hit 10,000 subscribers.
All right.
So well done, Claire. And once again, I want to just go ahead and say about the Maker Quilt again. All information for that is over on the podcast website at makersinternationalpodcast.com under the title hashtag Maker Quilt. So yeah, everything's written over there. But don't forget, if you click the donate button, that doesn't buy you entries. That just basically means you're giving us money to give to the guide dogs. You want to click the add to cart button. So my shout out goes to Martin from MG Makes. He made a poppy bowl.
Awesome.
It was. It really was. Now the poppy bowl that he made was actually, it was the shape and the color of the poppy, and obviously it's in the remembrance for the fallen soldiers. So he turned the bowl, like I say, it was in the color and the shape of a poppy, and right at the very end, which was a nice little touch, he done a reading at the end of the video, which was really, really cool. So yeah, Martin from MG Mace gets my shout out.
Fantastic. Mr. Fisher, would you like to give some love today to and I know you have somebody, so that's kind of a false question, but go ahead and do what you got to do.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to a great couple, Wayne the Bigfoot Turner and his wife Valerie Gilbert. And Valerie was a student of mine last week. She's a wheelchair user. She's an amazing lady, and she came in. She wanted to do a day on traditional tools. She's only previously used carbide, so she was roughing out like a pro after only a short time, and she was doing beads and coves most of the day, getting ever more intricate and smaller and neater. And you know what? She didn't have any scary moments. Absolutely, a stellar pupil. And she's gone home and she's been turning lots and lots of Christmas trees using traditional tools. So big shout out to Valerie. Well done, sweetheart. And there you go. Catch them on Instagram, I believe.
And it was Wayne Bigfoot Woodturner, correct?
Woodcraft. Oh, Wayne Bigfoot Woodcraft. Sorry.
Okay, I apologize. Wayne Bigfoot Woodcraft. Awesome. And great shout out. And congratulations to her. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Andy, go for it, my man.
Yeah, so my shout out is Tom Peterson from Refuse Reuse. New Jersey guy, not far from Sharon Figment's Maid. He is a fantastic artist with junk. He takes junk and turns it into all sorts of things. I just don't know how he does it. I see a pile of junk and I see a pile of junk. He sees a pile of junk and it's a speeder bike from Star Wars, or it's a Jersey Devil. It's just amazing what he produces. And at the moment he's on, I think, about 965 subscribers. So it'd be really cool if he could reach that 1,000.
Oh, we can do better than
well
that.
Deserves it.
Oh,
well deserves it.
Yeah, we can do that again. Once again, give me the name again so our audience can go.
Yeah, it's Tom Peterson. His channel is Refuse Reuse.
Refuse Reuse.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, having subscribed to that channel, the man does amazing work. And I don't know where he gets that eye from either, Andy. How do you look at something that I would look at as going, okay, that just needs to go, but he goes, no, wait a minute, all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's the creative mind. Yeah, I mean, I'm just awe inspired by people like him who can, see a piece of wood or some bits of junk and just make it into something. I struggle with that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And once again, but I did leave myself to last for this time, so I can be rather uninspiring. I don't really have a maker that I want to shout out. I just want to shout out somebody who I think might put a laugh a smile on your face every once in a while. And once a week, this gentleman comes out, and he doesn't need any promotion, but if you haven't or aren't familiar with John Oliver, you need to become familiar with John Oliver. He has a channel on YouTube, and he does a show on HBO called Last Week Tonight. And it is, I always watch it when I see it first thing in the morning because it always makes me laugh. The man is hilarious. So if you can, and if you're not familiar, check out Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. He's British, but I think he's now an American citizen, but he's absolutely hilarious. So there you go. I don't have a Maker shout out, but for your spirits and for your well-being, give him a look.
Well, I just want to quickly give like an unofficial shout out. Wayne the Woodturner. He's got 10 subscribers before he hits 2,500. So he's a hell of a nice guy, and he deserves to get there. So
Awesome.
Wayne the Woodturner.
Go Wayne.
Okay. Yeah.
This is some amazing stuff.
That is.
Yeah, he does. Really does. So look at that. Right on the money. Richard Morley. You could learn a few lessons from me, sunshine. Right.
He'll be with us next week as well. So yeah, Richard's back from the States. They actually kicked him out.
I hope he doesn't come back with his American accent like he did last time when he was in the forces.
Dear Lord, I hope not to.
Yeah. Right. I guess it's time to end the show for that for this week. So thanks to everybody from out in the chat that come to watch us this week. So you got Claire from Craft Corner, Wayne Woodturner, Cram, Andy, you're still out there, Chris from Dragon Tales, Jen's Woodworking Thing, Figments Made, Pete Miller, and everybody else is out there. Thank you once again. Thanks to Chris Fisher, LeBron Woodturner, Andy Pugh.
Just before we go, I'd like to say thank you for having me on. Please, everyone, dig deep. Let's get as much money as we can to get another guide dog, or little bits of many guide dogs out into the world with their new owners doing an amazing job and giving blind people a great new lease on life. And also, don't forget, this weekend, Harrogate, north of England, woodworking show. Come and find us at the Tormek stand. I'm demonstrating for 3 days for Tormek. Hey, if a blind guy can sharpen a tool, anybody can.
There you go. So,
Chris, you're hired. Anytime I need a sponsorship mention, you're freaking the man.
That's it.
Okay.
We've got a Carpe Diem.
I love you, brother. I do.
So we've got Mr. Andy Pugh.
Good night.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for contributing to our podcast for as long as you have. And
My pleasure.
I hope that you continue to do so because your questions are well worth the answers. I mean, trust me, my friend, I do appreciate it.
Absolutely my pleasure.
And it's good night from Chris.
Good night.
Have a great week, everybody.
And it's good night from them.
Yeah.
Bye all.
See you later, everybody.
Bye. Good night.